Returning to our top story, Vladimir Putin claiming a massive victory, not a surprise one, in the Russian election. Let's bring in Professor John Blaxland from ANU. He's the North America representative for ANU, but he's here with us face-to-face. Nice to see you here.
Thank you.
Back in town for family reasons, which is nice. But let's start with the Putin result, because this, I mean, 90% of the vote, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
But does he have a popular support in Russia? It's hard to know when you're talking about an autocrat like that. What's your read?
Yeah, that's like reading the polls in North Korea. Who's going to actually say that they don't support? Anecdotal indications are that it's very hard to find space for a contrary view. And if the only media you're getting is supportive of Putin and the war and, the rah-rah for the invasion of Ukraine and the ties with China and North Korea and Iran, it's hard to compete with that. It's hard.
Why do they bother? Why does he even bother with an election?
Well, I think this speaks to a marked degree of insecurity. This is a man who wants legitimacy. He wants to have the facade of people's support. And understandably wants to, use that as a tool, particularly. I mean, all these countries, it's very interesting to think about the countries that have the word democratic in their title. The Democratic Republic of Korea, People's Democratic Republic of Korea, I should say, DPRK. Like, really? It's just, it speaks to I think a hiding behind a veneer of democracy, because that's what's convenient. And it's very,
But it blows up in the sense, a metaphoric sense, when you look at the number of nearly 90%.
Oh, yeah, it's absurd.
It's ludicrous.
It is absurd. But when you control the outcome, you control the numbers, and that's essentially what's happened. And we've seen anecdotal indicators of vote stuffing, of the ballot boxes being stuffed, and I think that's pretty compelling. And no one seriously.
It's a very elaborate
Russia
veneer, though, isn't it? They just for the veneer of democracy, but they
I think it's
an elaborate effort to do it.
Yeah, it's important for internal legitimacy too, because there's a message that that as much as people don't necessarily buy it, enough people probably do, that this was a vote. We did vote. We did have a say. We were consulted, and there's no counterpoint argument to be made. But it works for that political purposes.
There was no quick win in Ukraine, but the Russian forces have shifted the momentum. They haven't been defeated either, obviously. But the Ukrainians, their iron will, it seems like they're just going to keep fighting in one form or another regardless.
So the Ukrainians are remarkable people, and the fight is extraordinary. And what we're seeing is, with the political gridlock in the United States, we're seeing Europe step up, and that's very heartening. I honestly think there's space for Australia to do more here too, really. We've got spare capacity. We've got the ability to contribute more. We've got some limits we've imposed on ourselves, where we give kit that isn't then backfilled for the Australian Defence Force. I think we could actually do more.
There is more.
There's more we can do.